I was wondering how long I could go before you said something.
I was ready this time. You keep doing it.
Apparently, it doesn't take long. You're wising up to my tricks.
That's right.
We should next time Rain is on. We should just wait. Don't say anything. See how long it takes her until she does anything. So I heard that some fool leaked the FNAF trailer.
Oh yeah, for the movie. It was some
criminal.
Some kid who I guess they're doing the test screenings or something. Oh, and he got to see it and do a survey on it. And he leaked it. And then he posted a video. They probably already knew who it was because every video had a code on it that marked whoever was watching it.
Oh, that makes sense. Like
a watermark or whatever.
Yeah.
But he then made a video apologizing to Blumhouse and Scott Cawthon and being like, please don't sue me. He is certainly getting yeeted off the face of this earth.
Truly, he's getting sued for everything he owns.
Interestingly, people don't seem to be spreading it around. I heard people liked it.
Yeah.
And it was not easy to find, and I don't feel like seeking it out. And no one's really talking about it either. A bunch of big content creators are like, I'm not going to watch it, etc., etc. And Scott came out from his crypt and actually posted something about it.
Out of his crypt?
Yeah. He's been very inactive since the incident.
Incredible. That reminds me of something that happened recently in the Magic community. Somebody was accidentally sent the wrong product. And so he got sent... There's a bunch of sets coming out right now.
Yeah.
It's Magic the Gathering card game, for those not aware. I knew Wolf knew, but I realized that some of the audience might not. There's a bunch of sets coming out, and he ordered one of the most recent sets, or some product from the most recent set, accidentally got sent some product that's not out yet, and then did a whole video on it. It's like, wow, I didn't think these cards were in the set, and just showing everything. So he spoiled an entire new set.
How unfortunate.
And the response was that Wizards of the Coast, the company, sent the Pinkerton Detective Agency.
Ooh.
Which, if you're not familiar, they're kind of a notorious detective agency. If you just Google them, it'll basically tell you, at the height of their power, they were the largest private law enforcement organization in the world. They did a lot of stuff for different unions, and they've done investigations against the National Guard and a lot of suspect different things, pretty sort of shady detective company.
They're pretty high class or high importance cases.
Yeah, and they're also kind of it's like detective mob.
Yeah.
But they're also super old, and they have they're founded in the 1800s. Anyways, they sent these guys to collect the product on this one dude.
At some point, you just gotta own the mistake. It's not like he sought this out. You guys fucked up.
Imagine, what's the FNAF guy's name? The crypt guy?
Scott.
Scott. Imagine Scott just hires the Pinkertons and tracks this guy down. They're doing something worse. I like that.
Stuff him in a suit.
I like that this guy came out. It's please don't sue me. It's clearly you know what you did is wrong.
At first he was I did it for the people. And then the people went on his side.
At least the guy that spoiled the magic thing did it accidentally. He came out and made a whole apology video. He's I didn't realize. And in fact, it wasn't even his fault. He was sent the wrong shit.
Yeah.
So it was just really funny. But this guy, the FNAF guy, fucked up.
The schmuck. He's definitely ruined Christmas for his whole family. They've got legal fees up the ass to pay now.
How could you assume he's celebrates Christmas? Maybe it's Hanukkah.
He's ruined Hanukkah. He's ruined Kwanzaa. He's ruined whatever the pagan holiday is called. All of it ruined. Canceled.
Saturnalia?
Yeah.
That's the pagan
Why do you know that?
Don't ask. I just know things. That's the pagan holiday.
And, man.
Which is basically Christmas. I don't know why they have to feel special about calling it something else.
Well, I think they were first.
Well, they were, but they could just switch to Christmas now that it's accepted.
I suppose.
Listen, I don't mind that they were first, but come on. What you celebrate now is basically Christmas.
We should be calling it. What'd you say?
We can't even pronounce what it's called.
It's such
Saturday
a foreign
night.
word.
Yeah,
such a foreign word. I didn't even comprehend it. Like all the names in the Avatar movie.
The Avatar. Oh yeah. Well, that one's ridiculous. That one's just absurd. I don't even know. And I'm normally good with names.
Oh man.
I just don't think they said the names enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know. That's half the problem with like a lot of movies these days is they just don't say the names enough.
Like, please. I know it's like stilted dialogue, but I don't know their names.
A crumb of name, please. All right, well, welcome. I guess not you welcome, but welcome audience to episode 73 of You're Ridiculous. I was really thinking about drawing that out because I could see like in taking your breath through the word. I thought about really drawing
criminal. Trying to make a fool of me.
I would. Well, it would have been for my own enjoyment. The audience can't see. It just would have been a little gift for me. Last week we talked about the new indie game Dredge.
We sure did.
That was a banger. It was great. Go check it out if you haven't watched it already.
Yeah.
Or play it if you haven't played it yet.
Yeah, it's only like $20.
Yeah.
25. Like
it's pretty good. It's worth it. This week, though, we're going to be talking about the new free Cult of the Lamb content update that they've done.
Yeah!
Relics of the Old Gods, is that what it's called?
Old Faith.
Old Faith, that was close. Relics of the Old Faith. And then we'll be ending the episode with a question of the week from Rain.
As always.
Wolf, tell us a little bit about what Cult of the Lamb is for those that haven't seen our previous episode, which you should definitely go check that out. Where we broke down Cult of the Lamb.
If you're a criminal who hasn't...
Go ahead.
If you're a criminal who hasn't watched our old podcast episodes, or somehow hasn't heard of Cult of the Lamb, they are an indie game where you play as a lamb who is upsetting the natural balance of things and becoming a god.
Attempting to.
You have a cult to maintain, and you go on crusades to uproot the old faith.
It's like a rogue-like dungeon crawl mixed with Colony Simulator.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Those are good genres to mix up, and I'm surprised that there haven't been more successful ones like this.
Yeah, they really mixed it up.
Yeah. So, now that we've given a rundown about Cult of the Lamb, what is this new update about?
The new update did a couple things. The main thing it added more complex combat. That was like one of the main complaints people had, like the dungeons were a bit samey and the combat was really simple. So they made it more complex. They added heavy attacks and they added a couple new enemies.
Yeah.
And they changed like the enemy AI a bit.
Yeah, all 5 of the weapon types now have a heavy attack and a level 2 heavy attack, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of new enemies, as you said. There's also new, not only like different combat, like you said, but all the combat rooms have new traps, such as like rivers and axes as well, like swinging axes.
Yep. Oh my god, the axes.
The axes are tough.
They are. It's like when you're walking around, the game will like remove things that would block your view, but it doesn't do that for the axes. So and they're huge. They take up like the whole dungeon area.
Amazing. Just a reminder for those that maybe want to go back and refresh on Cult of the Lamb more in depth than what we provided. Episode 41 will get you our previous episode where Wolf and I, and Rain, I believe, is on that one as well. Talk all about Cult of the Lamb more in depth. We'll be talking about mostly just the update for this one.
Yep.
And how do you feel about the rivers they added? Because that's pretty cool.
Rivers are neat. They mess me up. They just move you very quickly, even if you're like attacking.
Yeah.
It moves enemies too.
Right. It's like the ice physics in a lot of other games.
Yeah.
Right, where you like step on it and slide in the direction you were moving.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that mechanic. I think it's cool. And it feels like rivers are more thematic for this than like ice.
Sudden random ice.
Go ahead.
They're like crusades, like the dungeon that gets generated. They're like larger too, and they're less linear. Instead, you'd like go like maybe you go up, maybe you go down. Now there's like it'll make like a U formation or a T formation.
Yeah, I remember the dungeon patterns being like fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
which is okay. It didn't like detract from the actual game, but it was like noticeable kind of like basic function of the game that that was like one of the lower points for me.
Yeah.
Just the layout and sort of how the dungeons actually worked. But I'm glad they improved them.
Yeah.
They've also done like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, most importantly, they've added relics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sort of the big thing. They added 37 new relics, various powers that you have to collect.
And they're OP.
They are OP. It's you can get them at the start. Like obviously you have to collect them, but they're available to you at the start of the game. No, or you have to beat the base game.
Yeah, you can get them in the base game now.
Right,
too.
That's what I thought. Do you have any favorites or standouts that you like?
You can get Calamar's ear, which is kind of broken. They're probably gonna patch that, but it summons an undead enemy that like works for you, and they do so much damage and they have so much health.
Oh, really?
You can you could they recharge the relics. Recharge the reusable one, so you could have like 10 of them.
There's a pretty common like thing in Skyrim where you can like raise the dead. Or or summon like ghosts forms of like animals and stuff to fight for you, but they are incredibly weak. And it's like not even. It's more fun to do than anything, but it's just funny that like notoriously that sort of thing is pretty weak because having an extra person to fight for you is like at a base level overpowered.
Yeah,
or not overpowered, but like obviously quite strong.
It's huge.
Right, it's a big boon. So I'm surprised that they didn't like. They didn't realize that it was going to be really good if they make it OP.
You can walk into a boss room, move yourself off to a corner, and they'll kill the boss for you.
Okay, but is that including the glitch? Because the boss will just die to the glitch as well.
Wait, which glitch?
The one where you become immune.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the second or third boss. That was the third boss. Where it's just like sometimes... I don't really know what triggers it, but you can just become immune to damage and just like take everything.
Wail on them.
That's what I did.
Cheater.
No.
Those bullshit boss in the game and you cheesed it.
Not my fault they released it with bugs.
Oh man, speaking of bugs. When I first hopped into the game, thrilled, excited to play, it turns out my save was bugged and I couldn't use relics.
Completely bugged.
Yeah. I brute forced my way through the game anyways. Much harder to do without relics.
Yep.
And then they patched it and I started a new playthrough.
Yeah.
Because being locked out of relics also locked me out of a bunch of story.
I loved you were like updating Rain and I with like what was going on.
Yeah.
Because you played it like the first like day it came out.
Yep.
And I loved the point where you're like, okay, I'm restarting now. And then you were like an hour later or something. You're like, wow, these relics are OP. This is so much. Like, how did I go this long without using them?
God.
Oh, man. Do you think that they make the game too easy now? Because before, even at like a normal difficulty level, there was some challenge to the game.
Yeah. I think there's a good level of RNG with the relics because you're not guaranteed a really good one. Some of them are like just for fun. There's one that like turns a random enemy into like a creature, usually a goat. But it doesn't work on bosses. It just on the little enemies.
Yeah. So they're not always like super OP.
And you won't always get one at all. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that there's some balance there, I guess. And once you have them forever.
For most of them, yeah.
Yeah, there's some that like get used up right away, right?
Yeah, some are marked as like fragile, so they'll break when you use them.
Yeah. Maybe that raised dead one should be fragile.
Yeah. Maybe after a couple tries it breaks, or it needs to charge slower or something.
Yeah. There's also a bunch of there's now 16 mini bosses to the game as well. In the Crusades that you can do. Which, speaking of Crusades, they added those as well, which are encountered after the base game. You can't get those like in the main game or in the main playthrough. Yeah,
it's called. You go to Purgatory and you can do a boss rush or a dungeon rush.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh, those are fun. I've been working through them. They seem a little. There's no reward for doing all of them, so maybe that's coming later. Because there's like 5 levels to each one getting slightly harder.
Mm.
And each one is different based on the fleeces in the game that you get.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they also added more fleeces.
They did.
Which is good because there was literally like only one that was actually good before.
Yeah. Finally.
The rest were terrible.
The one good fleece that I always wore, the Feet of the Fates, is probably what triggered the bug that broke Relics. Oh, what a shame.
Do you want to tell or sort of expand your what you've been dealing with in the Discord for Cult of the Lamb?
Oh, yeah.
The spoiler channel.
Losing my damn mind.
God,
so there's a Cult of the Lamb Discord, like an official one, and there's lots of stuff that goes on. But the most recent drama was in the spoiler channel. A couple people started like bitching that some people would like choose to use spoiler tags in the spoiler channel. So like, because the game, it's been out, like at the time had been out like for a week, maybe 2. Only 0.1% of players on Steam have beaten it.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to put like things deep into the DLC still under spoiler tags so people can choose if they want to look at that.
Yeah.
Because it's like a general spoiler channel for everything. Like you want to go in there and find out how to get a certain card, but maybe you don't want to be spoiled on the entire story. And it's like it wasn't required at that time to do it that way. They were just bitching just to bitch. And so then a mod came in. And they I guess they held a meeting about it and decided that all spoilers, even in the spoiler chat, needs to be tagged. So their bitching got the exact opposite of what they wanted. And it was so ridiculous. So then it was also super unclear about what counted as a spoiler. Someone brought up the existence of aim and ball, and the mod was like, that needs to be marked as spoiler. And they were asking a question about it, and someone answered the question and marked that as a spoiler, and the mod was like, actually, your answer to the question doesn't need to be marked as spoiler. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
The topic needs to be spoiled, but the answer doesn't. I like that they bother even saying that doesn't need to be marked as a spoiler, as if that matters.
Right.
It doesn't really matter if something is marked as a spoiler. It doesn't need to be, because just click it and you can reveal it.
Yeah, they're like, please make that unspoilered.
Yeah, that's actually illegal to be marked as a spoiler. Take it down right now. I wonder who the mods are, how they got marked as modded. Or
probably just being active. I would not be surprised, because they don't see, not to be rude, but
not the brightest bunch, huh?
Not all the time.
That's fair. So, what are a few of the favorite things that you've encountered that we haven't talked about yet, or that we haven't talked enough about?
There's a new character. And there's lore, and you'll be hearing about the lore because this is really a trap, so that you had to listen to my Cult of the Lamb theory.
Oh, I'm all for it. Hit me with it.
But there is a new character. When they pop into their game, they're called question mark, triple question mark, and you give them a name, and that's you striking a deal with them.
Yep.
By giving them a name. And they want you to retrieve god tears for them, and god tears are just things gods produce when they die.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're for. I think it's suspicious. Regardless, and then the new extended story is that you, Lamb, are now the new god of death. That's the canon ending of the end of the main game. But you didn't properly kill the bishops. They're dead, but you didn't move them on to the next life.
Yeah.
So you need to go kill them again. And this time you recruit them as followers, but now they're powerless without their crowns and such. You've really humbled them. But there's more. There's lore. People didn't think there was lore, but I found it, and I've discovered it, and I solved it mostly.
Discovered the lore.
So the Mystic Man's, triple question mark Man's, he speaks in symbols sometimes.
What did you name the man?
First I named him Margot.
Okay.
Then I named him Roundhead.
Okay. So you can name them whatever you want.
Yep.
That's incredible. It's being 11 years old and getting your Pokemon rival Poop or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poop man.
Powerful.
Yeah. Boy, do I got him.
He'll never recover. But yeah, throughout the game, there's these symbols. Like I have discovered they're used very consistently, and therefore they must have meaning, like pictographs. That's what that's called. Yeah,
they are. Yep,
or sigils. Right. And Mystic Man's, he's called like Mystic Seller in the files.
Okay.
When he's talking to you, randomly, he'll just like, not randomly, but in that dialogue tree, he will then give a message that is written entirely in those symbols in red. And I'm like, clearly that means something.
Right.
And oh my God, if one more person tells me that it doesn't mean something, I'm gonna throw them off a bridge because it clearly means something. They're not. Why would they keep showing us that string of symbols? Because it's the same one every time it pops up. If it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
If it was random, then it should be random symbols every time.
Right. There's been a recurring thing like that happening in games, and it always means something. It always means, it's never random.
The work it went to put it in, it means something.
Right, of course.
And I found the meaning. I've decoded the meaning.
You have?
I have. I'll give you the summary of it because I didn't actually, it'd be a hassle to find what it wrote down. But it's basically saying that the people, so he's from a different realm. The people in his realm are ready. And that also you, the vessel, god of death lamb, he is also ready. And that he needs to do something with Terua's gateway, which is in the afterlife. And Terua is an old god who was thought to be dead, but he clearly isn't because there's other in-game text implying that he is still around. And he's like the tentacle beast. And when you really look at it, he is the tentacle beast that you sacrifice your followers to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was always wondering what those tentacles were.
Yeah, so clearly not dead. So there's that.
Interesting. And what did the Discord have to say about that? Audience, I wish you could see Wolf's face right now. They are heated.
First, I posted the like raw translation because they're pictographs. It doesn't give you like a proper sentence. They give you like the meanings of the symbols. And I posted that. And one person he's like Minima, they were like, these are just a bunch of meaningless words. I'm like, first of all, they're not. Just because you didn't understand it doesn't mean they wasn't meaningless. So then I like made a cleaner interpretation to like clear sentences that people could just read and understand. And then they were like, you don't have any proof that that's what that means. Those are just your interpretations. And I was gonna fucking rage. I did a lot of hard work figuring out the meanings of all these symbols. It was not easy. Because like, and obviously it's not meant to be easy, but all these symbols clearly have meaning. They're used very consistently. There's like the double cross symbol, which is found on the immortality necklace, the single cross symbol, which is found on the long life necklace, which is interesting because that symbol is what the bishops wear on their cloak, and they are not immortal, but they live extra long lives when you recruit them as followers.
Yep.
And then there is a swirly, like weird, like swirled symbol. That's like, I assume Teru, because it looks like a vortex or like a bunch of tentacles. And maybe the sun, but I think the sun icon is something else. But that brings me to my theory, because it was figuring out these symbols that pose this theory. And the main theory is that there is a sixth bishop. So, the bishops of the Vold Faith, you kill 4 of them. The 4 of them sealed Narendar away. He was the 5th bishop.
Yep.
For being too, what's the word? He wants to rule the world, and they're not with that.
Yeah. Doesn't vibe with their plan.
Yep. And I think there's a 6th one that has been either forgotten or erased from history, because when you're going to the boss, so there's like the mini boss rooms, and then there's the new areas in Purgatory, that you can see in the temple and the archway a depiction of 6 phases of the moon, with a sun in the middle, which is also represented by the pentagram symbol.
Oh.
But in the throne rooms where you do the final boss battle, and in the door where you like unlock the door to their throne room, there's only 5 phases of the moon, but there's a slot for a 6th one. It's just covered by moss. Ooh, and in the throne room, there's like the big symbol on the floor, and it shows again 5 phases of the moon. But in the new Heretics Packs DLC, there is the flooring of the old faith, but that's only got 4 phases of the moon. So they're like eking each phase out because it represents someone that they no longer associate with.
Right. You went deep.
I went so fucking deep.
You went, but it makes sense though when you.
And the only reason I thought there might have been a sixth bishop, because in that same Heretics DLC where they give you some custom decorations, there's a statue depicting some schmuck we've never seen before, who is like in the description being representative of the old faith. And I think that person might be the Great Fanatic. And the Great Fanatic is someone who is, he is the owner of the Zealous weapons, the ones that are red with like all the eyes on them.
Yeah.
And according to the weapon description, he is someone who was very, very like into like big sacrifice, big punishment. He was judge, jury, and executioner. Which makes sense because the other thing that depicts it is the Iron Maiden. He's like the head on top of it. I'm like, there's clearly someone else. He could also be, the sixth bishop could also be the anchorite. I recently found out anchorite just means like a hermit, but religious. And the symbol of the anchorite is like it's like an anchor. It's found on other statues, but there's also another symbol, which is like the constellation, which is found on the lighthouse, which means there's another god represented by that symbol. And that symbol is also found on the dummies in the like starting room.
I can't wait for someone else to figure this out and like make a TikTok and blow up and get famous.
They're gonna watch this and steal my fucking theory. I gotta beat them to it.
I hope someone from the Discord steals it.
Kyle
the one that says no, that's meaningless.
I'm gonna set them on fire.
You went deep.
Oh, I've solved it.
That's pretty cool though. I like that. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I know. Do we know of any plans for Devolver Digital and what they're doing, like what they're currently working on? Yes,
this summer, apparently, there's going to be another free content update that expands on the story, which I'm also thrilled to hear about because there's like the implied story, but then there's another story that with the bishops plus Narrander, because they're all a family. They're like real found family.
Right.
And they clearly had beef that led to him being locked away and et cetera, et cetera. And I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
Especially now that you canonically have them as followers, unless you like went out of your way to kill them once you turned them into followers.
That's just being petty.
I know, right? You've given them the utmost form of humiliation.
Yeah.
Stripped them of their powers and their godhood and made them your followers.
Listen, that's just what we had to do.
I had to do it to him.
Listen, they tried to kill me.
That's fair.
You know?
Though you were trying to kill them.
Well, I was just following orders.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm going to quickly, for those interested, run through all the things added in this update. It'll be a little brief thing, and we can talk about any things that we may have missed before we wrap this segment up.
Alrighty.
Added a new post-game storyline. Added 37 new relics. Added 5 weapons with heavy attacks. Added a sermon upgrade. Added new crusades. Added 13 new encounters for various characters and cutscenes.
How about one of those encounters?
Oh, yeah.
You know Midas, the gold guy?
Yeah.
There's now, so at the end of when you finished post game originally, the like statue would give you money and like coins instead of faith.
Yeah.
And so I guess to correct that, they added an event where Midas just fucking robs you. He takes like almost all your money. There were people he took like 6,000 coin from one person.
Oh my god.
10,000 coins from another.
Get fucked.
And you get like a fraction of it back when you like hit the last interaction.
Have you been robbed yet?
I did, but I didn't have much money.
Oh, good.
They took like 100 coin from me.
Nice. They added fish, meat, and relic rooms. Added 6 new enemies for the Crusades. Added 16 new mini-bosses for the Crusades. Added 4 new bishop transformations to fight in new Crusades. Added Chemach, a new character who deals relics. Chemach.
She's a duck, apparently.
A duck?
A duck. She looks like an owl, but apparently she's a duck.
Sus. Added question mark, the new character who provides quests. Added Forgotten Commandment Stones. How are those?
Oh, those are neat. They give you so many. I didn't really need much, but I guess. Because what I really wanted was the golden necklaces, so my bishops would live forever.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it basically gives you access to old doctrines. So some of them contradict, so you have to be careful which ones you click.
Yeah. Added 6 new necklaces to obtain in the, question mark shop.
Yeah.
Added 7 new tarot cards. Added 2 new critters, a jellyfish and a relic goat. Added 4 new buildings, the kitchen, shared shelter, crypt, and morgue.
I love the shared shelter.
Oh, yeah?
It does nothing, but it's adorable.
Is it just, 2 people sleep in it?
3!
3? It's a whole brothel.
I know.
Oh, that's incredible. Added 11 new followers, obtainable followers. 7 previous Twitch followers as well. Added 2 new Twitch follower forms currently obtainable from Twitch drops, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Twitch drops in general for game. I think that's neat. Added 6 special followers, which are mostly just the gods and
it's the bishops.
Added new quests. Added 5 new fleeces, which we talked about, which is really good because the old ones were mostly bad.
Yeah, the new ones, they're pretty good. I like to switch around with them for once.
That's good. Before it was just you could play this one and that was it. Added purgatory and then added the ability to refight the bishops and the one who waits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, but that's a hell of a free content update.
I know, and there's another one coming.
There's another. That's like the quality of the Stardew Valley updates.
Yeah.
Those are always huge and they're always great. It's really cool that they're free.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Final thoughts on this update? I know we'll do another one in the summer when the new one drops.
Yeah. Oh, great update. Thrilled for the extended Cult of the Lamb universe. Oh. And they are doing they're kind of doing a cartoon now. They did a Doom and Shroom, which was I forget who had animated it, but they put out a little leak, a little hint on Twitter of an animation of meat implying there's another one coming.
Yeah. Yeah, all the mini clips that they post on Twitter and the different videos and stuff are so good.
Yeah.
And this is such an interesting and cool world and story for an anime.
Yeah.
It could be really good. So hopefully they eventually do that. Check out the update if you haven't. Developer Digital has been doing some really good work. Big fan of those guys.
Knocking it out of park.
That's right. But moving on to Rain's question of the week. Wolf, what do you have for us?
Some historical figures have epithets attached to their names, like the mad or the wise. What would you like yours to be?
Yours a little high pitch.
I heard it that time.
Yeah, a little high pitch, but honestly, not terrible. Not your worst, that's for sure. So epithet, sort of your description word, mini title that you get, or that historical figures get. The mad, the wise, the crazy, the gouty.
Gouty!
I was looking up historical ones, and that was apparently a pretty famous one.
That one's more of an insult than anything.
Well, you don't always get to pick them. There's one that was the impotent. Anyways, Wolf, why don't you go first?
I would be Wolf the Indomitable.
I knew this something like that was coming. When Wolf sent this audience, I said it was gonna be Wolf the Horny or something. Tell us about Wolf the Indomitable.
I've been called tenacious, so I stuck that word in thesaurus.com and found one that sounded more impressive.
That's fair. I did something similar.
Who are you?
So, if you know me, I quite like to joke around and mess with people, particularly certain people that have been on the podcast before. And I have been called a villain and a gaslighter and a many number of other things by Rain and Lauren and several other people. So I would be Luke the Deceiver.
I love it. The Deceiver.
That would be my name. And history will remember me as such.
Oh, they better.
They'd be doing me an injustice otherwise.
See, they give you a different one because they were just that deceived.
You were deceived about my epithet. It was me, Luke the Horny, all along. Truly a villain and a deceiver.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I'll love to see it.
Did you have any other ideas for ones?
Probably Wolf the Mad. Mad isn't crazy. Classic one.
Yeah. I thought about just ridiculous. The ridiculous. Because that's also works as well. What would Reigns be?
Rain the... hold on, I gotta open thesaurus.com.
You have a word, but you have to make it sound more.
Yeah. Rain the vanished. Never around.
Never around. I have one as well.
Ooh.
Rain the dramatic.
Rain the theatric.
Yeah, that's another good one. I like that. I typed in artistic because she's quite artistic, and the thesaurus is one of the ones is stimulating.
I think that was a little off.
That's not quite what we're going for.
Rain the forebearer.
Forebearer. What would Lauren be? Recurring.
Lauren the fool.
Lauren, yeah, I was gonna say Lauren the fool.
Well, let me. Lauren the neurotic.
Lauren the unwise.
the hysterical.
Lauren the misguided. All right, if you have an epithet that you would like for yourself, let us know on the Instagram comments, YouTube comments, in our Discord, anywhere.
Or on TikTok.
We are up and running.
Yeah.
And going to be posting soon, weekly.
Already are.
And those links will be added to our link tree as well, for those of you that have found us through Instagram or Twitter, from our links in our bio. So you can find our TikTok there as well.
Yeah. Stay connected to the world of ridiculous.
That's right. Wolf, take it away.
I'm Wolf, taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 73 of You're Ridiculous.
Woo!
If you liked all that, be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast website, be sure to hit the plus and give us 5 stars to support the show. If you can follow us across the internet at ridiculous_cast on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow Lucas at 7AngryWasps with an E on Twitter. And you can follow me at RainbowDoes without the W also on Twitter. We hope to see you guys all we're on TikTok now at YourRidiculous_cast because Rainy fucked up the TikTok. We hope to see you guys all again next week.
That's why she's
say
not
goodbye.
around anymore.
Yeah, she
can't trust her with anything.
Had to banish her for blowing it.
back to the crypt. Had to send her away with Scott. Bye-bye.
Bye.